Welcome everyone to the very first session of our module, The Science of Happiness. Today's journey takes us through two of the most influential frameworks that try to explain what it means to live a happy life, the hedonistic and eudaimonic theories of happiness. Let's begin by pausing for a moment and asking ourselves, what does happiness mean to you? Is it the thrill of receiving a gift, a peaceful afternoon walk, finishing a meaningful project, or holding your child's hand while watching the sunset? Happiness is more than just a fleeting emotion. It's a state of well being and fulfillment. It can come from meaningful relationships, personal achievements, and positive mindset. Psychologically, happiness is linked to subjective well being, which includes life satisfaction and positive emotions. Understanding what truly brings joy can help improve overall quality of life, making every moment more purposeful and rewarding. As you think about your answer, keep it in mind. We'll revise it later and perhaps you'll see it through a new lens. Now let us discuss the origin of happiness in ancient philosophy. Our ideas about happiness are not new. They date back over 2000 years, especially to ancient Greece, where philosophers debated what it meant to live well. Aristippus of Cyrene, a student of Socrates, founded the Cyrenaic school of philosophy, which emphasized hedonism. It is the pursuit of pleasure as the highest good. He believed that happiness was best achieved through immediate and sensual pleasure rather than long term contemplation or virtue. Unlike later philosophers who advocated for balanced pleasure or intellectual fulfillment, Aristippus argued that bodily pleasures were just as valuable as mental ones. However, he also emphasized control over pleasure, meaning that one should enjoy life's pleasures without being enslaved by them. The Cyrenaics, followers of Aristippus, believed that immediate pleasure was the highest good. Example, eating delicious food, enjoying music, or relaxing in a warm bath were all seen as the essence of happiness. Epicurus, though often misunderstood, argued for moderate pleasures and freedom from pain and anxiety. He suggested happiness came from friendship, reflection, and simple living. Aristotle, however, introduced a different idea, eudaimonia, often translated as human flourishing or living according to reason and virtue. Example, a person practicing patience, courage, and wisdom while raising a family or serving their community is experiencing eudaimonia. In psychology, happiness is often referred to as subjective well being, a concept that encompasses both our emotional state and our perspective on life. Subjective well being is made up of two components: affective component or emotional component and cognitive component. Well, affective or emotional component refers to the presence of positive emotions such as joy, gratitude, and excitement, and the absence of negative emotions such as anger, sadness, and anxiety. Let's take an example of a student who just passed his or her final exams with flying colors. The happiness in the moment, the sense of relief, pride, and joy reflects the affective component, whereas cognitive component is all about life satisfaction, how we evaluate the quality of our life based on personal goals, values, and expectations. Let's take an example of a person might not be feel particularly cheerful today, but when asked how satisfied they are with their life overall in terms of career, family, and health, they might rate it very highly. Let us now explore hedonism in more detail. Hedonism defines happiness as the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain. In modern psychology, this idea is aligned with what we call subjective well being. Hedonism comes from the Greek word hedon, which means pleasure. Hedonic well being, by contrast, is usually discussed in terms of experiences A focus on desired fulfillment and pleasure seeking, and the presence of positive effects in the absence of negative ones. In other words, hedonic happiness is about maximizing pleasure and minimizing displeasure. It is a subjective form of well being measured by cognitive evaluations of life satisfaction and by the predominance of negative or positive effect. It also tends to be associated with sensual desire fulfillment, although it can take other forms too. Psychologist Ed Diener, known as Dr. Happiness, helped define and measure subjective well being. His satisfaction with life scale is widely used to study happiness across cultures. The three components of hedonic well being are positive affect, negative affect, and life satisfaction. Positive affect refers to how often do you feel joyful, calm, and excited, whereas negative affect refers to how often do you feel angry, anxious, or down. Life satisfaction refers to the overall how happy you are with your life. Example, a young adult goes on a vacation to a tropical island. He feels relaxed, he enjoys tasty food and posts happy pictures on social media. His mood is high, and for that week they feel extremely happy. This is called hedonic experience. Hedonic adaptation refers to overall time we return to happiness set point even after positive events. Example, someone gets a new smartphone or job promotion. They feel elated for a few weeks, but eventually that excitement fades and their happiness returns to baseline. Hedonic adaptation is an event or mechanism that reduces the effective impact of substantial emotional events. Generally, hedonic adaptation involves a happiness set point whereby humans generally maintain a constant level of happiness throughout their lives despite events that occur in their environment. The process of hedonic adaptation is often conceptualized as a treadmill, since no matter how hard one tries to gain an increase in happiness, one will remain in the same place. Hedonic adaptation can occur in a variety of ways. Generally, the process involves cognitive changes such as shifting values, goals, attention, and interpretation of a situation. Further, neurochemical processes desensitize overstimulated hedonic pathways in the brain, which possibly prevents persistently higher levels of intense positive or negative feelings. Well, eudaimonic well-being is all about doing what is worthwhile, even if it doesn't feel pleasurable in the moment. Eudaimonia is a Greek word often translated as human flourishing or well-being. It is a central concept in ancient Greek philosophy, particularly in the ethical theories of Aristotle. Aristotle considered eudaimonia to be the highest good and the ultimate goal of human life. Happiness isn't in fleeting pleasures, but in virtuous activity, like being honest, generous, courageous, and wise. Eudaimonia emphasizes the pursuit of personal growth, self realization, and moral excellence. It encourages individuals to strive for their full potential, which can lead to a deeper sense of fulfillment and satisfaction in life. This is in contrast to the pursuit of mere pleasure or material possessions, which often leaves people feeling empty or dissatisfied in the long run. Carol Ripp's psychological well-being model. This includes six dimensions of eudaimonic well-being, like self-acceptance, personal growth, purpose in life, environmental mastery, autonomy, positive relations with others. Self-acceptance is all about knowing and accepting who you are. Example, a person embracing their introverted nature rather than forcing themselves to be extroverted. Personal growth is seeing oneself as growing and developing, like a middle aged adult learning a new language to challenge themselves. Purpose in life is having goals and a sense of direction. For example, a teacher who feels their life's mission is to educate underprivileged children. Environmental mastery is effectively managing life and surroundings. Example, a working mother balancing her career and home with confidence and ability. Autonomy is making independent decisions and resisting social pleasures, like choosing a career path despite family expectations. Positive relationships with others is having a strong, trusting, and warm relationships, like a person who consistently nurtures deep friendships and community bonds. Now, we shall be discussing one of the most important theories in positive psychology, that is self determination theory, proposed by Edward Deci and Richard Ryan. They developed this theory of motivation that suggests people tend to be driven by a need to grow and gain fulfillment. The need for growth drives behavior. The first assumption of self determination theory is that people actively strive for growth. To develop a cohesive sense of self, people need to gain mastery over challenges and take in new experiences. The second one, autonomous motivation, is important. While people are often motivated to act by external rewards such as money, prizes, and acclaim, known as extrinsic motivation, self determination theory focuses primarily on internal sources of motivation, such as the need to gain knowledge or independence. Three components: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Autonomy is feeling in control of one's action. Competence is mastering tasks and feeling effective. Relatedness is how you feel connected to others. According to Deci, giving people extrinsic rewards for intrinsically motivated behavior can undermine autonomy, a phenomenon known as the over-justification effect. Deci suggests offering unexpected positive encouragement and feedback on a person's task performance to increase intrinsic motivation. To understand self-determination behavior, it can be helpful to look at some examples what might happen in a situation where a person is highly self-determined versus poorly self-determined. Imagine the person who fails to complete an important project at work. If this person is highly in self determination, they will admit their fault, believe that they can do something to fix the problem. If that same person was in low in self determination, they might instead look for other things that they can blame. They might make excuses, assign blame elsewhere, or refuse to admit their own role in not completing the project on time. There are wonderful ways to embrace hedonic happiness. Some of the hedonic activities to try are watching a favorite movie, eating something delicious mindfully, listening to music you love, practice daily savoring of good moments are some examples. Each of these activities encourages joy in the present moment, enriching life with positive emotions and sensory delight. Whether it's the warmth of a favorite film, the depth of a good song, or the mindfulness of savoring a meal. These small pleasures add up to lasting well being. When it comes to eudaimonic activities, they help us lead a meaningful life by focusing on personal growth and purpose. Volunteering for a cause allows us to connect with others and contribute to a greater good. Setting long term meaningful goals gives direction and fulfillment to our actions. Reflecting on our core values helps us make authentic life choices aligned with that what truly matters. Taking up challenging projects that benefit others strengthens our skills and deepens our sense of purpose. These activities promote lasting happiness by helping us live in harmony with our true self. Each of these listed activities, such as volunteering, setting meaningful long term goals, reflecting on core values, encourages a sense of inner satisfaction and self actualization.